Good morning, America. This is your friend, Dr. Turi, right here today again, trying to bring forth your own cosmic consciousness by translating the news and making predictions. So, today, a lot of people are going to hate my guts because I'm going to be talking about the stars and fate of the royal baby and, of course, the UK. Well, it's going to be a long time before this baby gets in power, and maybe it's a good thing. Well, first, let's talk about normal things, like I'm going to be on Supernatural Substation UPRN Talk Radio June 7th, and that will be tomorrow. Okay, we're going to be discussing all sorts of things that involve the supernatural, anything and everything that dwells with black magic, and things that you may be interested in if your cosmic nature or your UCI, your unique celestial identity, vibrate at a speed where you regenerate with metaphysics. And that can only happen if you are an old soul or a superhuman. All right, so surprise. Of course, having a baby was a good surprise for a lot of people, especially the royal baby. But there are other surprises that are not exactly good, that involve my keywords, such as aeronautics and explosion, or the 41 people that were killed in the Russian plane crash landing. Again, all you got to do is to click on the current SOS to the World Deadly window. The link is available to you. So you can, if you are a newcomer to my work, realize how I make predictions using Nostradamus, quatrains, and obvious keywords. Now, this being said, Europe is not like America. It's a much older country, including England. So they are not as religious fanatics as this very young country that we call the United States, which happen to be karmically led to help all the people who live in this beautiful country. America is only 200 or something years old, where much of the history is coming from Europe, and it's all religiously stimulated. America was built by puritanical people. And that's why there was perfect nest to breed so many religions and cults. And even though a lot of people have lost their lives following lunatics, infected reptilious Neptunians like David Koresh or Reverend Jones, Americans did not learn their lessons. Now they go and follow other cults, and that would be Scientology, Hare Krishna, Witness of Jehovah, the Mormons, and all the Neptunian soup that people must adhere to so that they can buy their place in paradise, because they don't know better. Nobody told them otherwise. Now, I find this article that was generated. Again, the link is on that newsletter associated, okay, with the video. That article, astrological article that was written, is there for you to read. Just click on the link, of course. And it just talks about the basics of the sign of Taurus. Jesus, modern astrology is so limited. I'll tell you what is the sign of Taurus. This baby is not a Taurus. His soul's purpose, being born in May, is Taurus. Taurus is the sign chosen by the ancient, the bull, to represent solidity, security, money, source purpose of this royal baby is to experience wealth and security and power. Taurus. That's why, again, the ancient carved the bull. It's a very powerful, massive animal that represents strength and solidity and security. And one of the reasons why subconsciously it associated with the financial district in New York, where you'll see the big bull is that little girl. And this sign was Switzerland, where all the banks are located. And it's not a surprise, of course, to have the Swiss guard taking care of the Vatican, the Pope, because all the money is there. And that's why it's independent. Nothing can ever happen to Switzerland. And that's why all the crooked, greedy, the Illuminati control your lives have their bank accounts out there in every country in the world. It's a shame. But that's what Taurus is all about. It's all about money. So this baby chart is all about money, power, security. And unlike modern astrology, which is mathematically jargonized, remember Nostradamus, 16th century divine astrology, 500 years ago, this methodology and Nostradamus didn't have access to a watch or a computer, so forget about the details. Remember, divine astrology, the word itself tells you, is an art that needs symbols, intuitions, and supreme cosmic wisdom to really, really translate accurately and understand. Again, one of the reasons that I would never be invited at any astrological big conferences, because what I teach is totally, totally different than what they want you to know, which usually start and finish on your horoscope newspaper, being used and abused on Facebook, website, and magazine, Google. There's nothing there but luring you so they can advertise skin product. He would have to pay me to be that stupid. But I am here to trying to save your butt and make you aware of what divine astrology is all about. The most important information you're going to gain in divine astrology is the location of the natal or hidden dragon. In fact, there is much more power in that dragon alone than the entire complexity of an astrological chart. But modern astrology don't elaborate about it. I wrote a book, 600 pages, called The Power of the Dragon. If you really want to know why Hitler did what he did, why famous and infamous killers and people did, it's all because of this dragon. And you wonder why the Vatican and the Church of England cast it aside and told you, touch it and you're going to go to hell. Or listen to Dr.Turi, you're going to go to hell. Meantime, the picture is right there for you to look at on that newsletter, exposing the reality and the fact that all the popes were taught astrology by the Vatican Council, especially the sign of Scorpio, sign of life and death, which is exactly how this newborn, this baby, this royal baby is all about. Taurus is your soul's purpose. The man you were born is your soul's purpose. The real you is on the other side. And that is Scorpio. Life and death, drama. And that's why a lot of Tauruses, and I know I married one, happen to either lose their husband through disease, death, accident, crime, name it. Or in my case, my wife killed the marriage because, for good reasons, extraterrestrial took the baby that she was supposed to have. And even though that I warned her about it, didn't want to deal with me anymore. And extraterrestrials. It was pretty dramatic. So, in other words, I was killed. But and that reminded me also that her mother was a Taurus and her father was a Taurus. So both of them faces the world as Scorpio. So her husband was killed through a bad drug deal by the police. Remember, Scorpio rules ultimate power, the police, the criminal element, the FBI, the CIA, secrets, sex, anything and everything that was the underworld, or wherever Scorpio is located in your chart, is where you're going to be at your most powerful and where you're going to regenerate. So if you have a strong Scorpio, you're what I call a white witch, which is a compliment in French, of course, nothing to do with religion. Depict many of your past lives involving disappeared civilization, where you use nature, the stars, plant, herbs, rocks to heal people. And sudden enough, you've been end up being burned or hanged by the Inquisition, or sacrificed in the name of man's religious folly. So Scorpio is how this baby faces the world. So let me show you in many ways what this Taurus baby is all about. Now that is the baby UCI. Again, remember, UCI stands for Unique Celestial Identity. Now, here it is. You have a copy of this chart, of course, in the article. So let me give you a quick hint. In his first house, or his source purpose, he has a Uranus in Taurus, okay? Apparently, the sun, the part of fortune. So this baby was born with dozens and dozens of gold spoon in his mouth. In other words, he will never have to worry about any one of his bills. And he's going to have more money than what he could ever handle. So that is his soul's purpose, to be born in May. So if you're born in May yourself and you struggle, remember, there are rules that apply to these signs and you do not know. And that's why maybe checking me will help you. In the second house of money, you can see that he is a Gemini and he has Mars in Gemini. Okay, so the moon in Gemini means you will be able to talk, to communicate. And Mars in Gemini means that you will be very aggressive intellectually, not only in terms of communication, but also in his money-making schemes. Because we always start with Aries in traditional astrology, which happens to be his 12th house. Aries is house number 1, Taurus is number 2, which is the money. In his case, Taurus is number 1, and Gemini is his money. So he's going to have a lot of ways to make money through traveling, talking, writing, communicating, transportation, and so forth. Top of that, he was born with the head of the dragon in Cancer. And that is pretty much anything and everything that dwell with home, family, security, the way he's going to be loved and cared by the British and the rest of the world. Anything to do with Cancer is bringing to the UK a form of solidity, security, and acceptance by the people. Okay, the people are his servants, of course. Meantime, they're also his subjects, and many of them are oblivious of the power of the stars. When you elect someone or a royal king is born, now his entire fate and his stars will either bless or curse the world. We can see, of course, that taking place with President Trump being the president of the United States, which is the most powerful country in the world, and depict why his racist legacy is something that we all have to suffer in the years to come. But what is a little bit tragic about this chart is that this royal baby was born with the same dragon's head and tail as Hitler. Now, doesn't mean he's going to be Hitler, but look at the tail of the dragon. He's in the sign of Capricorn and he's in the 9th house. In other words, Capricorn rules England. Capricorn rules politics. I remember, without the genius of the British, there will be no structure, no politics available on this planet. This little country in the middle of Europe over there was one of the most powerful countries, and still one of the most powerful country in the world. And that's why their navy was so very powerful, because a lot of ships, they're going nowhere, and they use that to go all over the place, and have a lot of country under their jurisdictions. And they went as far as Australia, India, and Africa, and rape all those countries, all their diamonds and God knows what. But that's what, Capricorn does. Capricorn is the head of the goat, or in Christian theology, the head of the devil. Capricorn rules power, control, structure, politics, the snobs, the king, the queen, the hierarchy, the privileged select, the scientist. It represents those who claim the high mountain of love and respect, and own the power and own the control, and they own your life. That's why Capricorn is set as the head of the devil, because once they have the power, as you can see, currently anywhere in the world, people are dying to change the power, because those out there don't want to lose the power, and they will do anything and everything they can to keep the power. And if that means using the army or killing you, they will do it, because there is no feeling with Capricorn. Capricorn is a winter sign. Okay, and the mountain means if you're born in January, your soul's purpose to claim that mountain. There's no fruits in the mountains. There is no fruit in the snow. There is no flowers on top of the mountain in the snow, and represent the tremendous work the goat has to do to get to the mountain of power. And that dictates politics and how they treat themselves as politicians, and how they're going to dig into your hell, your past, to make sure they crush you and they stop you getting to the top of the mountain where you will reside as the supreme commander like President Trump. But that means also bringing all sorts of karma. So knowing England is a Capricorn country. That's why Capricorn rules old age, and people never die in England. I know. I worked in England for 10 years, and I was the Royal School of Music over there, learning to play piano. So I'm very close to the British. I spent many, many great years in this beautiful country. The only thing I don't like is their food, and it's always raining. You never see the sun. Again, it's Capricorn. And people don't die. They live forever. So what I'm trying to tell you is Capricorn, the tail of the dragon of Hitler was in Capricorn. And had been Hitler's personal astrologer, I would have said to him, stop everything that you do. Stop the nightmare in Africa, in Russia, and even anywhere. Start with England, because England is on your tail. And you would have said, well, what does it mean? Like any one of you would ask me when I do a reading anytime, anywhere, I would have said, oh my gosh, that's where the beginning and the end will start for you. England. Unless you get rid of England right away, there's no way you're going to win the war. Luckily for all of you and myself, I was not there yet, so to speak. And you couldn't have access to my wisdom, because by now you would speak German. I can guarantee you that, because the stars don't give a damn. Knowledge is power, ignorance is evil. So not having the right astrologers, because he was surrounded by astrologers. And in fact, when they were wrong, he shoot them. Not having me, then the world was spared. Now, knowing that this child, this baby king, was born with the tail of the dragon in Capricorn on his own country, in the 9th house that regulates foreigners and foreign land, it's going to have a hell of a lot of problem dealing with foreigners and foreign lands. Pretty much like Trump is already feeling or influencing the rest of the world. Now, a lot of people will never see my prediction taking place. Neither will I, because he was just born. And by the time he gets in power, there is a long line of other people who have their own stars that can bless across the UK before he gets in power. But being born with his tail is not going to bring luck, not only to the country, but also to his parents. And I did the chart of many of the royals, and many of them were born with the tail of the dragon in Capricorn. and that brings bad news, conflict with the queen, all sorts of things. In reference to President Charles, in case you are interested in President Charles. President Charles, I'm talking about, sorry, I'm channeling, like I have a problem to ground myself. King to be, Charles, okay, is a Scorpio. Scorpio is life and death. Scorpio is jealousy, resentment, crime, the underworld. And Princess Diana was a Cancer, okay. July, August, September, October, November, Princess Diana, fifth house of love and romance, which is the attraction between human beings in Scorpio, fifth house. And that's why she attracts Prince Charles. But that was Prince Charles' dragon still. Prince Charles is born with the tail of the dragon in Scorpio. And that's why he was mingling with the negative element to have it killed. So, it's sad, but it's the reality. The stars don't care. So, a lot of that you don't know, because Prince Charles is a Scorpio, November, December, January, all those kids born with Capricorn in their chart will never be able to communicate with the king to be or Prince Charles, because some of these royal were born with the tail of the dragon in Capricorn, making it impossible for Prince Charles and them to be friends. There is conspiracy, there is jealousy, there is obstruction, there is the reptilians at work, of course. So now this royal baby was born with Saturn, Pluto, and the tail of the dragon in Capricorn. And with that so much power in such a house, maybe just depicting that by the time he gets in power, England as we know it today won't even exist. But being born with such a chart, this royal king is not bringing luck at all. And he may not be even raised in the United States. And because the tail of the dragon is currently in the sign of Capricorn, had you order your 2019 Nostradamus Dragon, personal and universal dragon, you would know that Capricorn rules large corporation, large politics, people who have names and power, and this nasty dragon, manipulated by the reptilians, is aiming to politics. See the circus with the politics and all the politicians not having respect and lying and cheating. The entire system, the entire political structure is crushing because the tail is in it, and the dragon is being misused by the draconis. Look at all those large, wealthy, greedy corporations that are going belly up. So it looks at all the people who have names and power, that have a celebrity statue, are being crushed by this dragon. And then when I wrote all this, it was well before the news that you hear today. In fact, I wrote this forecast a few months before the 2019 start. Now, the only way for you to learn a little bit more on how these dragons are going to get to you is to spend the $10. That's why I made it available. Because I know if you buy the 2019, you're going to get the 2020 like everybody else does, because I know what the hell I'm talking about. And you're not stupid. You're going to read how those stars are going to get to you and to the world at large. Okay? So that's not good news for England. And you can see that England, being a Capricorn country, is being forced by this dragon to a full and total restructure, or Brexit. I don't make things up. I just read the sign. I understand God cosmic design. I understand the universal mechanics. And I was gifted enough to dig into the cosmic code. And not only was I gifted enough, I was ordered by all my UFOs experience. I have 5. And I'm not talking about lights or something out there. No. Or walking. I'm talking about freaking UFO talking to me, and me ending inside a flying saucer. It's physical. It's real. And then comes Draco through the succession of orbs into my body, my mind, and my soul in June 17. June 12, 2012. So you're talking about things that are very, very tangible as far as I'm concerned, my connection with extraterrestrials, and why I do make unarguable predictions that have been challenged by nobody. And they won't challenge me because it's on TV, it's on radio, it's dated, it's printed, it's published. So the challenge, $1 million challenge, is already won. So obviously I can see his Venus and his Mercury of this little baby. His Venus is love and romance, and his Mercury is in Aries, all in the 12 houses. So anything to do with love and romance will be secret or hidden as far as I can see. But, you know, if you read, if you go to dr.turi.com and read in the sign of Taurus, you're going to get much more information than what is allowed by this very famous British newspaper to mention about astrology. So, you know, the good news is that he has Jupiter, the Lord of Luck and Expansion, dignified in the sign of Sagittarius, right on his 8th house. Okay, and that of course dictates that even though that is he will be very unlucky and very resentful to anything that is not Capricorn, which is snobs, money, white, power, resist, Hitler, with foreigners. He still will be lucky on foreign ground. He has that beautiful, moon on the cusp of Taurus, Gemini, the part of fortune in Taurus, the head of the dragon in Cancer, which is promising a hell of a lot of good thing. Work pretty much like Hitler. Hitler was loved by the German. He was there to talk to them, to make them security, to give them money, to give them work. And he was supported by the German people. So he will have that as far as the British society is concerned. That is a given. But again, the tail of the dragon is in the 9th house. So we have a duplicate of President Trump, but on a much more vicious, much more secretive, not open like President Trump. We don't give a damn. Tells you, he's just classified. If you read my translation of his stars, again, you have the link, Donald Trump for president. If you don't have it, Google it, Donald Trump for president, and put my name, Dr. Turi, behind it, and read his stars on the full profile of his idiosyncrasy, his fate, and everything is available to you if you want to know what's going on with your president outside of science, neuroscience, or psychiatry, a limited perception of what it means to be human. So he will do great for his people as far as security, real estate, food is concerned, but he will have that negative energy that is not going to support the UK from the day he was born. And that is sad news. A lot of people don't want to know that. A lot of British, who have respect for the Queen, who have respect for the system, we also be vexed by the fact that I represent in astrology, Nostradamus astrology. And even yesterday, Thai president was elected into the same type of energy. Jesus. He was crowned under the same type of energy, the king of Thailand. Oh my God. Anyway, so all I can tell you, my good friends, is what I know. There is much more implicating, the baby king to be, if, the world or UK survive as we say it. But it looks like if, because of these newborn stars and such an important birth as a future king, England is going to go in a down spiral way imposed by their ruler Capricorn, which is cursing the entire country with Brexit, trying to separate themselves from the rest of the world. Doesn't work that way. Where's the world of Aquarius, which is making the world very, very small accessible to everybody through technology, humanitarianism, one world government that so many people are afraid of, one world religion which so many people are afraid of, which will actually be the liberation of us all, as all is that and that is all and that is Aquarius, and that is my message. Now, good news, always. I was invited at Extraordinary Experience doing my conference in Las Vegas, and this guy made a beautiful little video. Sad enough, the sound is not exactly good, but that's okay. I mean, he's a beautiful, wonderful person that is trying to promote the truth, and even though that his technology is not top, so was mine a few weeks ago when I first started those videos. I had terrible equipment, and then my webmaster told me, hey, you want to look good, you need to sound good. And then I follow his directions and counseling, and now you get really good sound. I don't have to scream anymore. Okay, so I give a little bit of information of who I am, what I do in that video, but that's nothing compared to what's coming up with what I did in the streets of Beverly Hills, talking to people and showing them the true power of divine astrology. So that will be available pretty soon now, and I hope you would enjoy it. You probably will. These people did, so you will also, I'm convinced. Going to be at the Contact of the Desert as a support speaker. If somebody doesn't show up, I will do a slide presentation of all my UFOs experience. I will also attend the dinner with George, with my wife and Tom, and all the speakers. So if you want to talk to all of us, I will be present at the luncheon with George. George is a good friend of mine. I might be also allowed to do a little speech and talk about George's stars. It's a surprise for him for his birthday. It won't be if he sees that, but it's going to be interesting if I get on the stage and start to talk about George a little bit. Excuse me. You know, George and I, we're the same age. We've been around for a long time, and we know each other's. And I always have admired him for standing not only in the air in front of millions of people, but also in public, and mentioning my name and saying how real I am. And that is something I will always be thankful for, because without, you know, George and Art Bell, both of them born in June, no accident, of course, Dr. Turi would not exist. So it's kind of an important event for me. So I will be there. I will do some readings. Everything will be taped, either 3 or 4. I'll bring my equipment. Still waiting to have it, all the details there. Another show is also being planned with George, Nori, Tom, Dinizer. Don't know just yet when and where, what, but again, in time, I'll let you know. You know, Tom is a very busy guy, and we'll set it all up in time. Another thing I will be attending, I don't know how many of you are into Bigfoot, but I will be there. Hopefully, we'll make that conference. I made a commitment. I'll try all that I can to keep my commitment, regardless of the physical problem that I have with my hip and my back that messed me up. But again, with pills, painkiller, I should be able to attend all those conferences. Problem is, if I get surgery, that'll be a different story. But hey, keep my fingers crossed. I will be definitely on the UFO cruise in October with some of the top speakers, sharing my own UFOs experience and doing my own thing as far as Draco is concerned, in terms of cleansing you and using his power to go through your body, mind, and soul, and stimulate all the beauty of the Draconis, the light, the sun working through them for us against the darkness of the reptilians who cannot survive in this world without negativity, fear, chaos, and evil. Then, of course, there is also another interesting conference, 2 of them, in Australia, Egypt, where I'll be talking about cosmic consciousness. That's going to be a really, really interesting one too, because I will also uh, let Draco works through me and teach what cosmic consciousness is all about. I'll bring all the artwork, all that I have to talk about, all I have to do is already planned to make a phenomenal success of those future conferences. And another one, which we are also very excited, is the one that is actually designed for anti-aging. And at 69, I think I kept my fuel, my power, my energy much on the top. If it wasn't for my hip, I'll be doing all sorts of things, be running all over the place. So this slowed me down a little bit, but that's going to be fixed thanks to the Draconis working to the scientific community and those surgeons that might take care of my hip or my back. I don't know. We see. I'll let you know. So that's going to be a phenomenal experience. We'll give you a lot of tips on how to stay young and what to do with your face without using nothing else than olive oil. It's going to be interesting. Just join us, okay? So hopefully I'll see you at the biggest UFO conference on the planet, Contact in the Desert. I can't wait to meet all my friends out there. There is so many people that I know, including George and Tom. And one more time, join us in the luncheon. We're going to have fun talking and meeting. All right, guys, God willing, as always, make it a beautiful Monday. I don't even know which day we are. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Talk to you again soon. Make it a beautiful day.